Alright, welcome into this Mortal Kombat 1 like review or thoughts. I actually beat the game, so yeah, it will be a review. Before I start, I'm just gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm going to talk about the things I liked, didn't like, and then the trophies. Now, I'm very close to the platinum, but there's a glitch trophy and there's a huge like 50-hour grind trophy or 20 hours depending on how you're gonna do it. So I don't have platinum yet. I'm gonna probably get the platinum sometime this year, but I don't have the platinum right now. So as you know now. Now in terms of the hours, I have about 24 hours in the game right now. I have played majority of the stuff I'm gonna be talking about. And before I start about everything, if you could leave a like, that helps the algorithm a lot. So thank you if you liked the video. Thank you so much. Now, I'm gonna start with the good stuff. Right off the bat, there's two things that I noticed about this game the first hour I played it. How great it looks, how amazing it feels, like no like, how do you say, frame drops or anything like that. It looks incredible. It's only current gen, so no PS4 or Xbox One version. There is a Switch version though, which I won't talk about. I'll play this on PS5 only, alright? So I mean, you can just Google Switch versus PS5 or PC, whatever. You're gonna see the hilarious difference. Yeah, it plays very good, but the one thing, I am not good at fighting games. I don't play fighting games. The last time I played a fighting game more than 2 days in a row was Smash, and that came out, what? It's gonna be 5 years ago soon. And Smash games are usually easy to remember. Like you have two buttons, especially a few moves. They're very like different compared to like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken, all these games. Now in terms of like character-wise, I like Tekken more, but Mortal Kombat is like the longest running game that I always play at some point, right? So yeah, the tutorials in this game is amazing. I really like the tutorials. I feel like they have tutorials even for each character, but the way they introduce every tutorial and how fast it moves and how you remember, it is incredible, I think. So tutorials, huge ups. Now in terms of like, I ask people on Twitter, what's the newest thing about this game? When they ask me on Twitter, what's the newest thing? What's the biggest difference? It's obviously the cameos. And then people don't know what cameos are. It's basically like a side character that you can press a button and it comes and does a move or two. Now, when I saw this, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to learn a new controller for a new character, whatever. No, it's not like that. It's just basically like, oh, you just call in, it makes one attack and then goes away. Or you can just combine some combos with it and stuff like that. So it doesn't do anything to confuse the buttons, in my opinion. It just adds to the gameplay. So this is the only time I feel like where like there's more characters on screen, it doesn't confuse me more. It's literally the only time I would say that's ever happened in a fighting game. So they did a tremendous job with the cameos. Now story, there's 15 missions, main missions, and each mission is a different character you play as, which is good because you're gonna get a feel for each character. However, they are about like 20-30 minutes long each, so they are pretty short how much you play on each story. But that being said, you do get a feel for each character, and I turned up to like Sindel the most of all the characters I tried, because it forces you to obviously play as majority of the characters in the game. So Sindel was my favorite that I ended up playing as. The story was good. It rewrites the whole, like, it starts over from one basically. So this is like a reboot, what they explain the reboot type of feel. But I feel like the last mission 15 was like, without spoiling, I would just say it feels like kind of like Avenger-ish, whatever, if you will. So it was great, but the last mission was like, eh. But until then, it was very good. Now, the reason why I actually got almost addicted to this game was a mode called Invasion Mode, which is like a virtual board game where like you move as characters in each world. You have like a few worlds you can move to, and the way it works is I think it's every 50 or 60 days the invasion mode resets. So if you wanna get the last boss of the invasion mode, you have to like beat it before they refresh it for the 60 days. So they're gonna refresh it. Now the way like you go to each step like a board game, and you basically fight some enemies on level based, like an RPG system. So let's say you face enemy level 5, you're level 6, it's gonna be easier to beat. If you face an enemy level 10 and you're level 5, it's gonna be harder. Vice versa, whatever. But it's very fun because sometimes you face 3 enemies with less health, sometimes you do some challenges, sometimes you do these test your might challenges or like just survive challenges where like a bunch of things go at you on the screen. So I really like how they try to make a game mode for, I feel like, casual people like me in fighting games. So the invasion mode is very good, and I've almost completed. I'm in the last world, and I'm level 27. I think 30 is the max level. So I'm way over leveled from like the characters. So if you just play it, you're gonna be over leveled anyway. And you can buy XP, you can buy some stuff to make the fight easier. If some fights are harder, you can like obviously upgrade some stuff in the store and stuff like that. So yeah, invasion mode, great in my opinion. I love invasion mode. And something that probably I think a lot of people are used to is the towers. There are like 6, 8, 10 tower fights you can do, and to grab a trophy, basically one of the trophies you have to get is basically do 10 endings with 10 different characters, which will take you maybe 2 or 3 hours in total. Not a huge problem, right? So just use 10 characters, beat the tower, do that 10 times to achieve like 10 different endings for that trophy. But yeah, towers mode, it's what you expect. It's just like you play a tower mode where you can't lose. Like if you lose on fight 6 out of 10, you have to restart. But you can also play any difficulty you want, so it's not that hard in my opinion. Now, things I didn't like. Obviously, after when I ask people on Twitter, what are their like negatives? Obviously, of course, it's the microtransactions. I mean, in every fighting game they have it, but I just have to say it. Obviously, it's there. Now, I barely used it. I don't think it affects anything. I think, in fact, there's very weak microtransactions. There's anything big. I think the currency you get with the game mode from Invasion, you get better stuff from that than the things you buy from the real money thing. So yeah, it's there and it sucks, but I have to address it, right? Now, something that I was actually surprised about, not all of them, but some voice acting is really bad. And I looked into it, and I think it's because they actually hired more. They tried to get more profile names for the actors, like real big actors' names, instead of actual voice actors. And you can tell in some, like there was a few clips on Twitter going around. I was like, yeah, I agree. Some of the voice acting is not good at all. And sometimes the sound, well, like let's say you have a big fire battle. You only hear the fire. You don't hear any sound effect from the fights. It's a small glitch, but it's there. I have to address it. It's there. They're probably gonna patch it at some point, but yeah, the sound and voice acting is not the best in this game. I mean, the sound quality, it works when if there's no special effects going on, it works very well. But as soon as you enter like a special battle or whatever, or something happens, then yeah, it becomes like, oh, what's going on here, basically. And one of the things I tried online a little bit, and the online infrastructure, I'm not so used to fighting games infrastructure, but it feels very old. It feels like I tried to play a game and it's like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you just wait, and then if it doesn't find anyone, you're just gonna rotate. But it doesn't tell you where it's rotating, it doesn't tell you anything, it just tells, oh, here's a fight, you wanna accept. So it feels very like behind in the online infrastructure or the design. Maybe that's just me, but that's how I feel. Now, in terms of the trophies, I would say, I mean, obviously you have to beat the invasion mode, you have to beat story mode, you have to beat the tower mode, 10 different characters. Everything is there. Like, I feel like I've got almost 80% of the trophies by just playing the game. And it's pretty easy. The one thing that's gonna take a lot of people time, it's getting the mastery of the cameos, the side characters I talked about, that are like behind you all the time, you can call in. You have to get them to the max level, which is level 15. And it takes a few hours to do that per character. So like, let's say, oh, you wanna platinum this game, maybe like 1/3 or like even more of the time is gonna be grinding, because you can put the control down. I think if you have a special controller, and you can get to level 15 in 10 hours or so, or you can do the grind yourself for each character, 2 hours each. So you look at least, like if you're gonna do it yourself, let's say obviously you're not gonna be concentrated all the time, between 12 to 15 hours just pure grinding, and who wants to do that, right? But the rest, I feel like the rest of the trophies you can probably get in like 30 hours or something. So yeah, it is not a hard platinum. It's well doable. If I can get it, which I'm a super casual fan of fighting games, then you can get it too. But yeah, the trophies are very good, except that one where you have to do it. I would prefer if you only had to do it with one character, and that was a silver trophy. There was like no 5 characters. That makes sense. So you just use one character. You're gonna play with it. You're gonna level up that cameo character a lot, and eventually you're gonna just get to level 15. But yeah, it's a very there's one glitch trophy as of this video. I'm sure they're gonna patch it, so no one has the platinum in the world right now because there's one glitch trophy. So which is not hard, but they're gonna probably patch it, and once that's patched, so people can get the 100% on it. In terms of rating, which a lot of people obviously asking me about on Twitter, I would give this game. Now, keep in mind, I am a very casual game, and I recommend this game to anyone that wants to try out fighting games or get back into fighting games. For example, I think Street Fighter 6, which I played a few hours of this year, is just that's a game for people who already play fighting games. I didn't play it for 2 days, and I literally forgot every single combo they learned me in the tutorial of the story mode, because they just throw so much at you. Where at this game, like if you know the basic stuff and you know some basic stuff of the character, you can still feel and cool basically when you play. So with that being said, I'm going to give this game a strong 8, a 8.5 out of 10. And that, keep in mind, I am not a fighting game fan, so yeah. Huge shout out to Warner Bros. Who gave me a review copy, or just a code, free code of the game, the deluxe edition, which I've been enjoying. And yeah, I recommend this game if you haven't played a fighting game in a long time. I played again 24 hours in less than a week. I have not done that in so long with the fighting game, which tells you a lot how I feel about the game. So yeah, if you have any questions about the game, please ask me in the comments. I will try to answer them. I just keep in mind I'm not an expert in this game, so I'm sure people are gonna say, "Oh, what do you think about this combo line of this OPO combo?" I have no idea. Like I'm not that good at the game, so just play the game casually, had fun, and I'm the review of it. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.